The other thing that is interesting, again, I love to draw parallels because people think what everything we're doing is new and it's not, is you saw the adoption of, let's say, fintech. M-Pesa is a great example, right? I don't know
Yes,
what the population of Kenya is. 100
like
million?
45 million.
45 million.
Yeah,
Okay,
50,
so
yeah.
45 million went from 0 to 45 million people essentially, right?
Yes.
So what you have is a network, which is a country, a state, and you apply a new method of finance, and what you saw was network adoption. And what we've got here, what you're looking at with Telegram, is there is a network state of about a billion people. It's a globalized network state. It doesn't have a system of money. Well, it does now, or a
Right.
system of finance, whatever. Let's not necessarily call it money. Let's call it a financial platform,
Yeah.
ability for everybody to build and do what on top of it. It's again the same playbook. People just complicate it. It's all it is.
Yeah. Although I would add, Raoul, that I might be the only person in the world who says Balaji doesn't take it far enough. He wrote the network state. I'll
Yeah.
raise him the network continent. You know, in my mind, what Satoshi discovered with, first Bitcoin and then, of course, the whole blockchain industry is not just digital scarcity or absolute scarcity. It's a new continent in cyberspace, America in
That's right.
cyberspace, right? And
That's
I
right.
call this continent Satorica. Now, if you don't know and your listeners don't know why America is called America, I can, tell you that story. It comes back from to my hometown in Black Forest, Germany. So, many of your listeners will probably know that America was named in honor of Amerigo Vespucci, the Italian, explorer from Florence. And that much is true. But, Vespucci was a European gentleman like your good self. So he wasn't so full of himself to name it himself after himself, right? Now, who named America? Good question. The answer is a random German cartographer from my village. His basically German name is Martin Waldseemüller, the Latin name Hylacoemulus, which I shouldn't dox myself, but anyway, you can see where this is going. And he wasn't very special, but he did make the map, the first one. I've got I don't want to move the camera, but I have it here, and you can just Google it. And he asked the question in 1507, what should we call this place? Now, who found it? Amerigo found it. Not even true. Doesn't matter. This is why America is called America, right? And the point, of course, is that the idea of America came from this country here in the UK. John Locke, life, liberty, property. That became life, liberty, in the pursuit of happiness. Now, let's go through the list, right? This is digital property. Even the IRS agrees to this by now. Clearly, it's liberty and it is freedom. And I argue it gives life and hope to people who neither have liberty nor property. By the people, for the people, from the people. So we're all in the Mayflower right now, and without having to leave our physical location. And yeah, I mean, of course, I would argue that the discovery of America, was a pretty big deal in the arc of history. From a cotton colony, it became basically the first global, economic superpower, global reserve currency, and there is I think a need for having the United States of Satorica. The U.S. needs to be on board, and now it is, as Winston Churchill was right. America will always do the right thing, but only after
Eventually.
all other options are exhausted. And here we are.
And I've thought about this. I refer to it as like fiat world and crypto land. And this is the new promised world, and that we are, and I've used the same thing. We're migrating across to this new world where there's higher returns on capital, more personal freedom, and all of the things that make nations
So
great. And we've created this digital, I think, continent, maybe a digital world of which we can migrate across to. And that slow thing. I even think about things like how I've thought about it, stuff like, okay, we can go and live in crypto land, which we do because we keep our savings and do our purchases and whatever. But things like, I think of the ETFs as like FDI. So you're
yeah,
taking money direct from fiat world, but it's still linked to fiat world. So it's kind of hot money flows. FDI is VC. It's the same model of a globalized economy. It just happens to be the fastest growing economy the world has ever seen. And as you rightly say, it's made up of sub-nation states. So,
yeah.
of which Bitcoin is the largest and Ethereum is the second largest. And then, there's other fast growing nations, and some will not make it and some will make it. And
Yeah.
it's the rise and fall of nations going on.
Absolutely, yeah, and of course, this is not too dissimilar when America was discovered, and there's different countries, and it wasn't clear that North America was going to be so much more successful than South America, for instance.
No.
From a resource endowment perspective and so forth, and And arguably, again, I'm a history buff, so I don't want to, sidetrack the conversation too much. But I think this is a very apt analogy, and I think this is I see the development of this industry in that sort of line of ideas.
Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end. Look, if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and check out the video here on the right-hand side. I'm sure you'll enjoy that one as well. And if you're ready for more, go to realvision.com/join. I'll see you there.